What is going on, everybody? This is Drew here. I want to welcome you all to a brand new episode of Phoenix Down. This is Phoenix Down 127.3, and we are continuing our playthrough of Dead Space. Today I have with me Matt.
Ooh.
And yeah, debated on if we're going to finish this. No.
Whiplash, because I went from seems unlikely to, oh yeah, a couple of short chapters. Maybe this is, ramping up in pace to the end, and then all of a sudden, oh no, these last chapters are pretty long, so it'll have to be one more week.
All of a sudden, chapter 10 hits you, and yeah. But yeah, we made some pretty good ground, though, because last we left off was in chapter 7. We were about a fourth of the way through chapter 7, having to do the SOS beacon. So
good. Four chapters, essentially, for this recording.
Yeah. So yeah, we had to find we found out that the crew was developing an SOS beacon to send out, and apparently they didn't finish it, or maybe they did, but it got moved somewhere, so we got to go find it. And that takes us all through like the mining area. And I think, no, this was not where I got the beginning of that side mission. We'll talk about that, because this playthrough was all about me finishing side quests. There's still one side quest that I haven't started, and I don't know where to start it at, and it may be the one you were talking about, Matt. So we have to find one of the supervisor's rigs. So that's a side quest. We've talked about that in the last recording, but essentially there are five supervisors that you can find their rigs, and if you do, you can then craft the master key, essentially, where you can pretty much open every door. And Dallas is the rig that we're trying to find. They were obviously working on the SOS beacon there, and obviously something happened, and it was either locked away, or it was locked away using Dallas's rig. Basically, you had to have the credentials to unlock it. So we got to go find Dallas's rig. After finding that, then we can do it. But here's the issue: we can't actually send out the beacon because, well, the communication hub isn't working. So I think that's afterwards. So yeah, chapter 7 is all about getting the SOS beacon ready. But then at the end of chapter 7 is when we realize the communications hub is not working, so we have to go get that working. Yeah. That's when chapter 8 starts.
We send out the SOS beacon, we can't get any response back.
Right, because our communications
Did you get to the
down.
Room in chapter 7? You know, we talked about it last week a little bit, the one room that was supposed to be harder, or the first one that was kind of a pain.
You mentioned it. Now what room were you talking about?
The one for me was the room pretty early in chapter 7, where you have to go in and move 3. There's like
those anomalies.
A yellow beam. Yeah, you have to take the anomalies and shoot them into the yellow beam.
I didn't have a single problem with this room.
I died a bunch of times because the first part's easy, shooting the 4 into the beam, then you can go back down. Anomalies are cleared, and then you can turn the gravity back on. But then I've got people coming at me from both directions. I struggled with that one a bit.
I didn't. I think that was the room you're talking about because there is a lot of enemies in that room. But I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I feel like I've broken this game because I have done nothing but upgrade this plasma cutter. Where I ended, 2 shots. It don't matter where they at. I could shoot them in the leg and then shoot them in the body, and they are dead. And with that upgrade I get in Chapter 8, or the weighted blades, I dare a necromorph to come running at me. Because I will swing at... Those. What? The weighted blades?
Yeah, the weighted blades. I wonder if I should ditch all my other stuff for the rest of the last couple of chapters.
The weighted blades is amazing. Because if you got a regular necromorph just bum rushing you, you swing that plasma cutter in their face, and they are on the ground.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
Yeah,
and easier than stasis even.
In fact, the crazy thing is, it's almost like a 1-2 punch. So they come running at me, I hit them with the weighted blade swing, and then shoot them on the ground, and that's it. I'm just like, this is perfect. Yeah, nice and quick. So I feel like I said, I feel like I broke this game because I have a fully upgraded plasma cutter that just wrecks dudes. And once I had the plasma cutter fully upgraded, I then started using my nodes into my suit, and I don't even think I've gotten close to dying in this game since.
Wow, I've died quite a lot in the last 3 chapters, I would say. Probably 20 times.
Definitely not me. This is. I feel like I'm playing on easy mode now. But yeah, going through Chapter 8, we got to get the communications hub back online, and we find out that the satellite's not aligned, so we have to bring it back online. And you want to talk about? I went from a chimpanzee staring at a computer screen to the monkeys in the end of 2001 screaming at a monolith. That's how frustrated I got with this freaking satellite thing. Because I kept looking at it, and I'm floating in space, so I'm looking at it sideways, trying to figure out, the ways to go with these, putting the electricity back, bringing the power back. I bet you I spent 30 minutes trying to figure this out. And I never looked at a fact, though, and I never looked at a video. I was like, I could easily just look this up. I was like, this is not that hard. This cannot be that hard. Apparently it was. So, I finally got it, though. It was quite the accomplishment whenever I got it.
It was weird because I thought it was going to be different. I thought there were going to be loads of pieces, but I think there's only exactly as many as you need, right?
I think so.
So I thought it was going to be. I thought all the extra pieces were going to be distracting, and because so many of them were like broken and you can only fit them a certain way. Eventually, I was like trying to work backward. I'm like, all right, I can't do this because I would need that, and then I would need that, and I don't have either of those. So, yeah, this was it. I liked it because it was a kind of a change of pace. But while I was doing it, I'm like, this feels out of place because it's so slow. Like, there hasn't been like a ramp up of this type of puzzle. It's just like, here's a puzzle plopped in the middle.
Yeah. But was this was, you did the satellite stuff, but was there one where it was holding, something was holding an asteroid? And you had to stasis
do that too. You have to stop the gravity tethers. You have to knock 2 on the inside, 2 on the outside.
Was this before or after the satellite thing? I feel like it was before, right?
The end of chapter 7?
Was that the end of chapter 7?
Might have been.
Yeah, because we put the beacon on the asteroid and send it out.
That's right.
Right? Yeah. So that's what happens. I remember that part. Which I thought that was kind of cool because you're basically inside the ship and then you're also outside the ship and then you go back inside, and that was really cool. But yeah, then we'd have to do the satellite stuff. That's right. I remember that now. Getting the communications back online. Let me look at my notes here. I wrote a few things about this. Have to readjust power to satellite and then release a signal. Oh yeah, it was quick. As soon as we get the satellite working, we get a message from a ship saying, "Hey, we're coming to you. We found one of your escape pods." And that's when we realize, oh crap, that's the escape pod that Hammond sent Chin through.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh good. So
it's almost comedic. Like, they don't play it off as comedic.
Yeah.
But, it almost is that. They're like, all right, we got the one pod, and everyone's freaking out, like, don't open the pod, but we can't communicate with them. Yep. So by the time we finally can, it's obviously too late.
Yeah. We get a nice video of the crew of that ship just getting completely murdered by necromorphs. And as we're watching that video, we then see the ship actually coming toward the Ishimura. Yeah. And it crashes into us. Which I thought
what we did to start the game.
Yeah, and you know what's really cool? I actually really like this because chapter 8 it wasn't very long, but then chapter 9 is like instantly we got to get aboard that ship. So the next thing is like, okay, well there goes our rescue. What the hell can we do? Well, Isaac's like, hey, that ship has obviously got what was it called? The drive. It was like
Singularity core.
Singularity core. Singularity core.
Because I think they have another escape pod on the Ishimura, right? It just doesn't have a singularity core.
I think that's what it is. They have something. Yeah. What the plan was getting. If Isaac can get a hold of the singularity core from that ship, we can put it on something on us and get out of here. So we got to go over to that ship. Now, I mean, when we say go over to that ship, I mean we basically jump off of the Ishimura and float over to the other ship. And the whole time I'm thinking, like, this is so cool. Yeah, like we're going through space. We're boarding another ship. We board this ship, and it's like nightmare fuel. Everything's crashed and burning and on fire. And then there's also necromorphs running around. While we're on the ship, there's a couple of emergencies that we have to do. So the first thing is there's apparently a nuclear warhead aboard this ship that is about to go into like meltdown. So we have to basically release it to get it off the ship.
Itself, I thought that room was kind of cool. The fact that you can't explode anything in the room.
Oh, you found that out, did you?
Yeah,
me too. Because it got the explodey guys with the arm. Yeah, I shot it and blew it up.
Of course, the one place where you can't explode something, that's where they come.
So we got to release
I did
that.
The same thing. I took them out. I'm like, oh, nice and easy. And then, that didn't end well.
Nope. But we got that off. And if you explore a little bit, you'll see like there's some logs and stuff like that you can read. So this ship was more than just a hey, we're coming to rescue you ship. This ship was basically coming to kill everybody on the ship. I guess word had got out that this marker was here and a lot of bad stuff was happening, and they just said,
what it was? I thought I saw something that they were coming specifically because of illegal mining. Is that not right? I thought they were more there to like police them or take people into custody or something. Were they going to kill them as part of the religious
I,
issues?
I, I think that's what was going to happen. I think that's why they had the nuke on board. But maybe not. I know they came to basically intercept us.
Yeah.
And it might have been for the
also
Eagle.
like how did they get here so quickly, right? Because
Right.
they were already on their way.
They were already on their way. Yeah. So, but we make it to where they keep the Singularity Core, and Hammond also had boarded the ship while we did too. Well, Hammond's there, and he's there with the Singularity Core, and unfortunately, Chin shows back up, and well, Hammond's still thinks there's a way to save Chin apparently, and Chin stabs him through the chest and kills him. Puts him into.
Did I remember correctly when he tries to talk to Chen?
He does. He does try to talk to him and stabs him, and so he's like, I got to stop this. So he pushes himself and Chen into the Singularity Core, and they both explode into giblets. So Hammond is dead. We then go into the room, get the Singularity Core, and now apparently the ship's going to blow up. So we need to get off the ship as fast as possible. Another one of those running scenes where we had to run away, and we're also getting stopped by necromorphs. And then we jump out of the ship. It blows up, sends us flying for a little while, but we're able to stop ourselves. I think we grab a hold of like the of the satellite, right? I can't remember.
I think so. Yeah. Did you? So there was the first you mentioned before we started recording about the basketball mini game. Did you do the shooting range mini game? I think that was on the Valor, right?
Yeah, it was. It was like a shooting range or shooting gallery. I did, but I didn't finish it because the monsters showed up, and I still got an achievement for it. I think it was just like survive the shooting gallery or whatever.
Activate and run.
Yeah, pretty much. But
and then you get the new enemy in that section too, I think, right? The ones that the tall, really thin ones.
Yeah, and you shoot it and it falls apart into other little miniature
octopi, basically.
Yeah, parasite-looking things.
This also where we get the ones that kind of phase in and phase out, or is that later?
No, that was this one because it was because they all had stasis abilities on their suits, and when the necromorphs,
right?
Yeah, the soldiers, and so when the necromorphs took them over, it like damaged the singularity, or not the singularity, but the stasis on them, and so they're phasing in and out of space time. I don't know. It was weird, but it was really nice because if you shot them in the chest, it would make the stasis explode, and it would it was like a big explosion too. So
I like it because not only does that like little explanation give you a new like encounter with the enemies, right? The fact that they're phasing all around, sometimes it feels like they phase in right next to you but then phase away, so it's not like they bum rush you, but they are unexpected. And so right. I think that adds a nice little variety to the enemy encounters, while also, having those kind of tactical options because they've been involved in a bunch of group enemy attacks as well. So I like the idea that it's another new enemy, and also you can use that ability of knocking into their stasis and setting off a little stasis bomb to your benefit. And also having it tie into like the lore, and it's just it's not just, hey, here's a new enemy like the tall slender one. Why is it tall and slender? Why does it fall into two pieces? Nobody cares.
Nobody knows.
It's just an enemy.
Just part of it.
But this one I thought was really cool because I'm like, oh, there's an explanation and it leads to a new enemy, and it leads to a new like tactic. I'm like that's cool. That's a nice blending of combat and setting, I guess.
Yeah. We skipped over a part. So the part with the boss fight, before getting the signal back, we have to fight the Leviathan for a second time because we get the antenna online, but the problem is that the antenna can't extend because something's holding it. And that's when we find out the Leviathan has, when we ejected it, it grabbed a hold of the satellite and was holding it. I didn't find this fight very difficult at all.
I didn't either.
Yeah. Shoot the glowy things.
Yeah, shoot the glowy things, and you've got the turrets. I don't know. I don't know if it's the way I progressed through the encounter, but there were 3 turrets, right?
Yep.
So I used 2 of them, and before I went to use the 3rd one, it broke.
Correct. I think it always
okay.
happens that way. And then
Okay.
you're just kind of like, screw it, I'll just use my guns that I have.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like,
And
oh,
that's
I
what
don't even need these cannons.
Yeah, that's what I did. I just used the plasma cutter and shot it a few times. Honestly, I think the plasma cutter did more damage than the guns did.
Yeah, it's probably faster, certainly.
Yeah. I got it off,
Kind of
and
a
then
cool
that's
encounter. Again, not overly difficult, but a nice change of pace. There aren't that many like real boss fights in the game, so it's kind of cool to get another one. Giant
when...
biomass.
Yeah, definitely not that many. But that's, after that, escape out of the, was it the Valor? Is that what it was called?
Valor.
Yeah. And we get back on the ship, on the Ishimura. And when we make it back on, God, what is her name? The other woman that came with us.
What is her name?
It's hang on. Space characters.
Kendra Daniels.
Kendra Daniels. Yeah. Kendra calls us and says that she noticed that somebody from the like bridge area where the atrium is, somebody had unlocked the door and went through it because she just saw it on camera. So she wants us to go check it out. And when I did that, I noticed that one of my side quests, the side quest to get the final supervisor rig, unlocked for me. I was like, oh boy, I can go do that. So I went and did that. And this was where I was like, okay, getting close to the end of the game. Why don't I go ahead and finish up some of these side quests? And that's kind of what I did for the rest of this play session. I was able to get the last supervisor rig. I went back to the captain's nest, created the master credentials to get through all the master doors. So once you get that, you would think you have access to all the doors. Lies, all lies. It's any door that has like a level on it. If it just says locked, because I was thinking I can open up some of these doors. I think I could kind of break this game. I can go through any door now. Nope. If it says locked, you can't go through that door. So there are still doors that say locked on them, and I don't know how to open them. But
I assume they must be then story progression or some other side mission will allow you to get in there.
That's the only thing I can think of. But the problem is like I finished. There was 2 side missions that I had. That one where I get the master codes, and then the one where I learn about the hunter, the origins of the hunter.
Oh, that would be cool. I need to go back and do some of these. I tried to do some side missions, but couldn't progress them because I had missed the initiation point of it, so I couldn't pick it up from wherever I had found it.
So
specifically, the one I was trying to do was premeditated malpractice is what it's called.
That's the one. That's the origins of the hunter.
No, I wish now I even more wish I had done it, but I guess I'm back on the Ishimura, so I can't do it now.
Yeah, like you pretty much have free reign. Have you got all the supervisor rigs or no?
No, I think I'm missing. I'm missing at least one, maybe two. I'd have to go
From
ahead and check.
where you are, you can totally go get them all. So, I the origins of the hunter basically is the crazy doctor that sicked the hunter on us for the first time. He once he found out about the marker and what it was doing to certain people, particularly the miners who were on the planet itself, he took one of the miners who had a fit of rage, and he started running experiments on him, and was able to put actually a small piece of the marker into his brain. He went through his eye.
Crazy.
And that then basically turned him into a necromorph, essentially. And then from there, he went to hydroponics. Like this mission was all like watching the holograms. But from there, like you start in the medical bay, then you go to the mining area, then you go to hydroponics. So he went to hydroponics and used like plant DNA or something like that to help with the regeneration of his cells. So that's why he regenerates all the time. And then he basically just like, when you go to the mining, you start to see like how he went crazy and started killing people, because you go to mining and you see basically the doctor had sicked him on the miners and started killing them.
That's crazy.
So he was kind of the guy who started this whole crap. It seems like.
I guess the age-old question: do you blame him or do you blame the marker?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
But yeah, that took me a while because I was going back and forth riding the tram to different locations, and Isaac's wife Nicole, she was she got kind of wise to what the doctor was doing experiments on people and stuff, and she actually brought it to the captain, and the captain subscribed to that religious fanaticism and was like, let the good doctor do what he needs to do. So Nicole was trying to stop it, and that was pretty much it.
There was a cool other bit of lore where I don't know if maybe it was a text log or a generic text log or audio log, but they were talking about why so many of the supervisors were part of this religion, and apparently the captain had come on like at the last minute or something, and then installed all of his own people on the ship, and so he kind of seated the crew with people who were inclined to either be influenced by the marker or just already part of this religion. And I don't think anybody knew about that. So I thought that was kind of a cool tiny piece of background just to say, all right, this is why maybe they were able to get away with it, is because they, because I don't know within the universe how many people are part of this religion.
Right.
And, I guess it hadn't even really dawned on me to say, well, if it was only like 0.01% of the population, you wouldn't expect more than one or two people on the ship maybe to be of that religion, but apparently it was a lot of them, and they were in supervisory positions, and they were installed there by the captain.
Yeah.
Which, makes it all make sense a little bit more.
Yeah. It's it's a bad thing. So yeah, I did that, and after getting the master key, I then went and looked on the map and found every door that required the master key and opened all of them. So it's not just doors. There's also like storage containers that you can open that have something.
The big ones.
Yeah, the big ones. So pretty much any door or container that requires that holds a weapon upgrade.
I was going to say, because that was actually going to be one of my questions for you, because once I got the level 3 access and you can go in and open those kind of level 3 containers, I assumed the average content was going to be better. But I think it's all still part of that randomly generated mess, and I feel like I'm opening these level 3 lockers. I'm like, oh, this is great, and it's still just credits.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly.
Yep. Yep. That's where you get your big upgrades.
That's pretty nice. That seems like a great thing to lock in before a new game plus.
I've been trying. I don't know how many upgrades that I have. I'm sure I'm missing some things. My question then is what actually carries over into New Game Plus? So I think all the weapons do. Maybe all the upgrades, all the nodes that you put into those upgrades, I hope. Your suits, I know, carry over. Yeah. So I feel like I'm pretty stacked to be ready for New Game Plus, because I don't think I'm going to spend any more money, and I know that the level 6 suit, which is the best suit in the game, costs 99,000 credits.
Credits also carry over.
Yes. So I think I'm good. I got that level 5 suit in chapter 10. I made it to I made it to the part where you go into like the crew quarters and you see all those dead bodies with like people like with the hoods wrapped around them like they were sacrificed or something.
Yeah, it's an interesting part of the game, because it definitely gives you more of that sense of setting. Like, oh shit, bad things have happened here.
Yeah.
But it still gives me a little twinge of it's still the same corridors, now just with more different stuff in them. I don't really take that as a negative, just because it is the ship. But yeah, I don't know. So some positives and some negatives I feel when I was playing through this section.
Yeah.
I do like it when you get to the, I don't know if you saw the like executive quarters, where you start to get like wood paneled walls and stuff. That seems to feel a bit different. You're like, oh, all right, these all these cronies that were part of this religion, they had their nice captain's quarters, and more plush than than the corrugated metal and all the steel in the rest of the ship.
Yeah, I haven't made it there yet. I made a save and then proceeded to spend probably 30 minutes trying to do that friggin' basketball game. I did finally get that achievement for it. It took forever.
To do all the levels, get through all 6 levels. Yeah,
you gotta get through all 6 levels. You gotta score 220 points.
I did it once and died pretty quickly from all the little 3-tentacled baby aliens. And then the second time I tried it, I got through 4 levels of it.
Well, yeah, the first thing to do is kill all the babies.
Yeah.
And then start doing the basketball.
Yeah, exactly.
It probably took me 10 tries to get this.
Really?
It sucked.
Yeah, I thought I took a lot of hits the first time just going in and trying to get the battery that was floating around in that room.
Yeah.
So basically, I got that. I went out and saved. Then I went and killed the babies. Then I went out and saved. And then I went back to do the basketball game. But yeah, is there anything better in those last 2 lockers?
Or semiconductor,
still kind
I
of
think.
random? Oh, okay. That's not
I think
bad.
there's semiconductors. I can't remember what the last one is. In fact, I don't think I went back and actually got it. I think I just ran back and saved. I need to go back and open up that last locker. There may be a weapon upgrade in there.
Yeah, you'd think they hold that out for the last, for the best.
Yeah, or probably just a node. But yeah, just finished that. I got the battery, put the battery in to fix the elevator, and then that's where I stopped. So I will finish up this game the next play session. We do have an email. Let me bring it up here. Comes in from Dustin. And it's called Deceased Void. Haha, I get that. Hey, what's up? Well, I finished it. It's a great game, but I wasn't having the best time with it. I don't know if it's because I already played it, or if I wasn't in the mood for another horror game, or maybe I feel like there's so much to play. I don't want to play anything. I did get a small jump scare towards the end of the game, and I honestly was expecting a monster to jump out of that vent, but when it happened, it still got me. I think Phobia was actually a scarier game. Whew. Being able to purchase ammo and health and having to fight your way out of most encounters with different guns really dampens the horror element. Was anyone else confused by all the signs that said scan suit or scan to use, but there was no way you could?
Yes,
Early in the game, yeah, I was too. Early in the game, I was trying to figure out, and finally looked it up online since I thought I was missing something. But it turns out you can't do anything with those signs that look like they might be for workbenches or info tablets. They should have said something else then instead of confusing the player.
Another color, like they're the same orange as the interface screens that start orange and sometimes turn blue.
Yeah.
I guess the only difference was I kind of gave up on them because they were small screens. I'm like, well, maybe they're not like in-game interactable screens because they don't look quite like the ones that you do interact with, but they were the same color, and the message did make me think that you would be able to interact with it in some capacity.
Yeah, I noticed it a couple of times. I'm just like, if I don't hear that sound, I'm not worried about it. There's always that sound of something that you can interact with, and I've been trying to pay attention to it. I see, my main gun was the Ripper. I loved that thing.
Really?
No, you kept the enemies at a distance, and it would just tear them up. If one of those small tentacle babies showed up, I would switch to the plasma cutter or the line gun and make short work of them. Bosses weren't very tough, and if they added more story, I didn't really notice. I think I heard they were going to remake 2 as well, but I'm just hoping for a new entry. Anyway, what's the theme for 2024? Are you going to have a theme or just play whatever? We're going to have to do some Yakuza games, right? I would also like to see some turn-based RPGs and other classics as well. Until next game, Dustin. So, we talked about this before we started recording tonight. I don't know if we're going to do a theme next year. I think we're just going to be like, go game by game and just be like, hey, what do you want to do? You want to do this? You want to do that? We have settled on our next game, which was a game we were supposed to do last year, but we couldn't get around to it because of my traveling. We are going to finally get to Greedfall. So that'll be our next game. And as I was telling Matt, I've got a big thing coming up come April. I have a baby.
Thing.
Yeah, I have a little big thing showing up. A baby is going to be born, and well, I don't know how much time I'm going to have for video games for a while. not to say I won't be playing video games. I know that from my friends who have children have told me that there is a lot of baby needs that have to be attended to, but then there's also a lot of downtime where the baby is sleeping and the last thing you want to do is be around the baby to wake it up. So I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to have to play it by ear. I'm going to have to play it by, hey, maybe I can play a game, maybe I can't. I don't want to stop doing Phoenix Down, so I'm not going to, and that's not my intention, is to stop Phoenix Down. What may end up happening is we may end up doing like one show a month just talking about an overall game. You know, we may sit down and say, hey, let's play this game this month, and then we record an episode, a big episode, talking about it, kind of thing. So, I don't know yet. A lot of things are up in the air.
It's a big life change for sure.
It definitely is. And, you know, like obviously my family and my baby come first. So, I want to take care of my child and be a good father to it. So, we'll see what happens. You know, like obviously I don't want to quit this. So we'll definitely make it work somehow. It just may not be as frequent as every week we have an episode kind of thing. But, yeah, as far as what the theme for next year is, I think we're just going to play it by ear. Just do what we want to. We both had Greedfall on our list for a long time. So I definitely am looking forward to getting into it. I started it, and then I got a new job and had to travel. And so I was like, this isn't going to work. So we readjusted, you know. And so that's what we're going to be doing.
Yeah, actually, when I restart this after Dead Space, I think it'll be the fourth time that I've started this game, and I've played to about the same point every time, which is through that first intro. Yeah, about an hour in.
Yeah.
So it'll be the fourth time playing that first hour, but you know, this will be the time finally where we get to see the rest of the game.
There you go. I hear it's really good, so I'm excited. But yeah, that's where we stand right now. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, next, and thank you for that email, Dustin. I really appreciate
Absolutely.
it. If you'd like to send an email to us, it's drew@ztgd.com. You can talk to us about Dead Space, talk to us about Greedfall, whatever you want to do. You know, just reach out to us. Let us know you're listening. And you can also tweet to us. I am at DML Fury. Matt is at REMGS, and the podcast itself is at ZTGD Phoenix Down. But that's going to be it for us this week. Feeling pretty good about this game. I feel like I'm kind of in the same boat as Dustin. I really like this game a lot. I would love to do a New Game Plus playthrough. It's not scary. It's not scary at all. I don't know what happened.
It's funny because I think it would be even less scary on the New Game Plus, right? Because you're even more maxed out with your arsenal.
I mean, I'm already a badass. Like, this plasma cutter wrecks dudes. So, I don't know. Maybe the scary part is doing that impossible mode. But the amount of times I've died to just environmental crap because I wasn't paying attention, if I died to that and had to start the run over, I would be so mad.
Yeah, you're meticulous with every single enemy, and then basically a stray error causes you to die.
Uh-huh.
That would be frustrating.
Yeah. So I don't know. But, I mean, I'm not saying I'm not having a bad time. I think it's great. You know, I think this is a really well-polished game. Plays great, looks amazing. So, I'm happy with my purchase that I made with it. I'm holding out my reserves until we finish it, but Resident Evil 4 Remake's better.
Yeah, I was gonna say I want to finish up the end and remember how it ends and try to tack on a few more bits and pieces to it. I'm going to try and watch one or two of the Dead Space movies before the next recording, and just because there's a place. I feel like Dead Space has a place in that niche of sci-fi horror, right? Other than Alien and you know Event Horizon, what else is so iconically sci-fi horror? Like this has in those both movies. This is the game version that fills that one niche. It's great at that piece of it. But yeah, it's maybe not as scary as I hope it would be. And I agree with you. I think Resident Evil 4 is a bit better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's okay. I think they're both great. So, I don't know. I guess we'll get our final thoughts next time. But until then, I am Drew.
And I'm Matt.
And we are out of here. You guys have a great week, and we'll be back next week with the continuation and conclusion to Dead Space.